Hi everyone, this is Dr. Chhoda and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I hope you folks are doing well. Folks, Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, conducted another really important press briefing today where we got some key insight into how the White House is approaching not just the stimulus, but also the overall economic recovery, as well as their approach towards the reopening of schools. Because remember, you did see a video on my channel earlier today where I talked about some scathing comments, searing comments from the Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell. There he is, Mitch. He's not super happy with the fact that the administration wants hundreds of billions of dollars for school reopening. He's not happy about that. Also, as far as state and local funding is concerned, the administration, the White House, wants well over $350 billion. If you can guess how much the Republicans want to provide for state and local funding, can you guess? That amount is, ta-da! That's the amount. That's the amount. A whopping $0 is what the Republican Party wants to provide for state and local funding. Let's take a look at important comments from Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, where she highlighted that there is a great deal of need for assistance. People are going hungry. And the priority of the White House, the priority for President Biden, there he is. Hello, President Biden. And the Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, there he is. What's up, Chuck? Their priority is to make sure that the American people get the help that they need. Let's roll the tape and hear what Jen Psaki had to say today.
President Biden told House Democrats today that he considered the $1,400 direct payment a promise that he can't break. At the same time, a new analysis from the Penn-Wharton budget model suggests that 73% of those payments would go into savings instead of be spent in ways that could boost growth. I'm wondering, what's more important, to keep the promise or to ensure that the package does all it can to maximize growth?
Well, first, on the Penn-Wharton analysis, we've seen that analysis, and I've talked to our economic team about it, and frankly, feel it's way out of step with the majority of studies on this plan, including independent analysis from the Wall Street firm Moody's, J.P. Morgan Chase, and the Brookings Institution. And the analysis concludes that our economy is near capacity, which would be news to the millions of Americans who are out of work or facing reduced hours and reduced paychecks. So this starting place means their model is way off. So our view is we're going to listen to governors, we're going to listen to a broad range of economists, we're going to listen to health experts on what is needed, what the American people need at this point in time. And when 1 in 7 American families don't have enough food to eat, it's clear that there is a great deal of need for assistance.
And folks, in the next segment, I'm going to highlight a very interesting, a very strategic play from the White House, basically saying, hey, this plan is bipartisan because a majority of Americans support it because it's popular. So it's a very interesting approach to try and create pressure for the Republicans to approve this plan. Let's take a look at this segment, and then I'll actually show you some data that actually backs up what Jen Psaki is saying. In this segment, Jen Psaki says there is not only a great deal of need for assistance, but she says that this bill itself is bipartisan. The $1.9 trillion package, the American Rescue Plan, according to Jen Psaki, is bipartisan, and 74% of the American people, doesn't matter whether they're Republican or Democrat or Independent, they support it. Let's roll the tape and hear what Jen Psaki had to say.
Well, an area where there's agreement to work together on is funding for small business. And that's something, of course, Democrats and Republicans want to do. Our view is that this bill itself is bipartisan. 74% of the public support it, Republicans and Democrats, independents across the country. And there is agreement that it's important to work with many Republicans and Democrats who fall on different parts of the political spectrum to put their ideas forward and consider them. And that's part of the conversation and part of the process now happening on the Hill. We will see. What proposals that improve the bill, that make it better, and there's certainly an openness to that.
So now on your screen, you'll see a very reliable pollster called Political Polls, which says that 68% of individuals surveyed support the $1.9 trillion plan, and 24% of those surveyed opposed it. In fact, on your screen, you'll see the page from the Quinnipiac University website where the poll shows overwhelming support as we scroll down that page, overwhelming support for the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. And we'll provide you with a link to all of this data in the description section below so you can check it out for yourself. Now, in the third segment, the White House press secretary talks about some reports that suggest there were some differences between the president and some of his aides about the stimulus checks. She was specifically asked, is there some daylight? between the president and aides when it comes to the stimulus checks. And then she had a pretty strong response. She said that all the reports about differences between the president and his staff about stimulus are ludicrous, and the president can make decisions for himself. Let's roll the tape and hear what Jen Psaki had to say about this.
Several Republican senators have said publicly that they believe the president is in a different place than his staff on this issue in particular, and he is more willing to deal perhaps than his staff. Is there daylight between the president and his staff on the $1.9 trillion proposal?
Absolutely not. I've seen some of those reports. Many of them are ludicrous. I've sat in a lot of meetings with the President of the United States in the last few weeks, and even before then. There is no one who's going to tell him what to do or hold him back from his commitment to delivering relief to the American people. And I would point you to the fact that he talked about the importance of going big on a package back to the campaign. He talked about the importance of meeting this moment back to the campaign. So that is certainly his commitment, and that's exactly what he's working to deliver on.
So that was it, everybody. Super interesting comments from the White House press secretary about what the priorities are of the administration, who's the boss, who's in control, and also the overwhelming public support for the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan from the American people. It's very clear that they are calling this bipartisan, whereas in reality, they, instead of using the word popular, they're using the word bipartisan to try and create more and more pressure on the Republicans, who, by the way, did pass a $2 trillion tax cut for the wealthiest amongst us in 2017. And here we are, at this stage where we're pretty much at the end game of the recovery, if you will, for some of us, not for all of us. And they are hesitating with the $1.9 trillion plan. What is also possible is that the White House used the $1.9 trillion plan as an opening salvo, and they're willing to come down, and that is essentially how they're negotiating. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. If you learned something new, I would really appreciate that. That's going to make me feel like dancing. I would really, really appreciate that. Please click like, please subscribe. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time.